What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is LaBelle, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. As always, it's free to subscribe, and today we're talking about overpowered players in the Premier League. Players you'd like to include in that starting lineup if you don't have a big bankroll. If you enjoy this concept, because I want to go through multiple leagues and really talk about players that you might be overlooking, drop a thumbs up, share it around the community, and talk to me in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Did I leave somebody off? Remember, at the end of the day, this is an opinion piece, so I want to hear what you have to say. Give me your feedback, your input. Insert your opinion here. First off, let me define what overpowered means, because I know firsthand that we often disagree on this definition. Overpowered deals with players that perform better than their card value, better than their statistical allocation, and they come at an affordable price point. So let me provide an example of a few players in the Premier League that are going to perform better than their card value, or at least at that card value. However, their price point is not going to be looking too hot. If you can get your hands on them, sure, go for it. However, I don't think they're going to come at a very affordable price point. You might be able to get a few of these guys, but I'm just giving you a few examples of players that don't necessarily fall into overpowered for yours truly. Not at this current state of the game, more so because how much they're going to cost. And you guys can let me know what price point takes somebody out of the overpowered category, or what rating takes somebody out of the overpowered category, because that's the debatable. I always talk about it on social media. Been trying to get this right. Players like Rashford or Martial, are they going to perform? Sure. Would you like to have them in the squad? Indeed, especially early on, but they're going to be expensive. In fact, in different leagues, they'd be equivalent to a player that could be an 85, an 86, an 87, sometimes even more expensive than that, depending on where the market takes these guys. I made a little mini list. We're looking at Trent Alexander-Arnold, Sanchez, Zaha, Lucas, Pepe, Gabriel Jesus. Even Sissoko might be on that cup this year. Of players that are debatably overpowered, because you have to measure the price points and the rating and then what you're getting in terms of their performance. You let me know. Come on, cops. I'm glad we talked about that. Let's get started with honorable mention. So these players just missed the cut for my top 5 overpowered Premier League. Get them in the starting lineup for starter squad players that are on my list. First honorable mention, Benjamin Mendy. And he has previous success in a FIFA installment. That's relevant because typically we see players that have performed in past FIFA installments continue that trend. Just seems to work that way. Good size, good athleticism, and overall stats that are going to work for you outside of maybe a shooting. But I don't know about you, but for me, I don't score goals with my fullbacks, and that's not going to change in FIFA 20. Keeping the fullback trend, Hector Bellerin, and we know he's going to give you pace on pace on pace, and that's why you have to have him as a potential overpowered player, or someone that you should include at that fullback role if you maybe can't afford the prime time defenders just yet, or you're putting your resources into attacking players first, which makes sense. Prioritize. And in the midfield, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. In FIFA 20, pace is important, and he's got plenty of pace for a central midfield. And you could also play him in multiple roles and have success, whether you needed potentially even a fullback, a holding mid, a center attacking mid. He gives you the ability or the capability to play these positions at a certain level or a certain standard. He can be your utility player, and I believe that gives him a lot of value early on when you maybe can't afford everybody you want to have in your starting 11. And I know most of us are looking to build out in the Premier League, most consumed league for a reason. Drum roll, please. Welcome to the top 5. And at number 5, I've gone with Van Aanholt. Someone who has a lot of pace. He has high-low work rates, which isn't necessarily a good situation or a good scenario, but he's going to shoot down the flank. Some players will really appreciate those work rates. Other people will say it's a detriment or it's a negative. He gives you athleticism, 91 jumping. Even though crosses haven't been that effective up to this point of FIFA 20, it's good to have a fullback or even a center back that's able to get in front of set pieces, able to use his athleticism, his aerial pursuit, so to speak. I know Van Aanholt's not the tallest, but for someone who's not going to cost you a lot of coins, going to be a safe investment, he's someone you could include early on and expect to get better than his 76 overall foot item rating. Fullbacks on fullbacks on fullbacks. Wan-Bissaka, someone I actually met at the FIFA E World Cup earlier this year. Seemed like a nice enough fella. But with Wan-Bissaka making the transfer, being 6 foot tall, which tells you can defend set pieces, he can defend crosses, he's going to be positioned correctly, and he also has 4-star skill moves. I realize his weak foot 2-star might not be that exciting. Keep him on his right side. Life's going to be fine. Hit those through balls, find the outlets, and then if you need to dance, need a ball roll or a drag back or a ball roll drag back, this could be your guy. I know those aren't 4-star skills, but typically, from my experience, if you have 4 or 5-star skills, even the basic skill moves look a little bit cleaner, a little crisper, a little easier on the eyes. At the midway point, and I reckon Richarlison, he could even be higher. And I think EA did this man a bit dirty. 79 overall after the season that he had. How he performed with Everton, what he was able to create, goals that he scored, space that he attacked, left foot, right foot. He does have that 5-star weak foot in FIFA 20 to go with those skill moves, the Brazilian flair. And he's another player that you could play in multiple roles on the pitch, at least attacking roles, whether it's a winger, a center attacking mid, a center forward, a standalone striker, an in-behind striker, looking for 1-2s. Gonna give you a little bit of everything. He has a lot of stats that are in the right places, and he's gonna perform. Simple as that. In the runner-up position, Joe Gomez. Pretty obvious, center back. 81 pace, and he's got decent agility as well, which is relevant because sometimes when you're looking at a foot item, you're analyzing the pace statistic. The man will have acceleration, he'll have sprint speed, but he won't have agility, and he still feels kind of clunky, whether it's an attacking player, a midfielder, or a defender. But that's not going to be the case with Joe Gomez. You're getting quality value for someone that's an 80 overall. Actually, beyond quality at that point. His defending numbers, solid. Size, not a problem. Even if he's not getting a bunch of playing time at Liverpool, at least his FIFA value is staying at a good place. You're going to want to put him into the starting 11. And topping the charts, and if you've seen some of the highlights that have been put together by Saint Maximin, the Saint is what we should call this man. And you might not argue with me. Otherwise, you might think I'm a little bit crazy. But with the 5-star skills, the weak foot, the pace on pace on pace, the explosiveness, for whatever reason, and it doesn't always make sense. When you're looking at someone who's a 79 overall, you're thinking to yourself,
is he really going to make that big of a difference? Are you telling me that he could be weekend league approved? Maybe a super substitute? Should he be in my starting 11? ASAP. ASAP.
And that's what overpowered players are all about. It's not always just where the stats align, but how it feels in game. And that can deal with positioning, how they get in behind, and having that extra something that just pushes them to that next level, makes them feel a little bit saucier on the ball. Whether it's the touches or the way that a player steps into space or finds these little pockets and they're able to open up for a finesse shot or hit those 1-2s or just be a natural difference maker where you don't always have to trigger the runs. You don't always have to find him on the pitch. He's always going to be there naturally. And that deals with some of the attacking positioning and also, of course, your custom tactics. It just seems that some players are gifted organically. And this is one of those guys. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to drop a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Who would be in your top 5? Who are you cutting out? Where are you ranking them? Honorable mentions. And the whole debate with Overpowered. What's the rating cutoff? What's the price point cutoff? I need to know because we go back and forth all the time. And it's really important for the criteria for us to be on the same page or kind of in agreement here in terms of the players that you're slotting into an overpowered category. But I have a lot more content coming for you ASAP.